So we're back with another weekly reading. This is timeless and it will be the week from the day that you're watching this. All right, your following week from here on out. Whenever you see this, and I'm pulling from the You Are Possum deck. So this is going to be for the people who really need an encouraging, uplifting reminder. All right. So like, yeah, this is for the people who are like, who've really been going through it lately. Okay. So what do these people need to hear? Wow, look at that. Stand tall. I'm reading what's on the back. Okay, so it says hold your ground. Hold your ground. Stand tall. Take 5 steps. Trust yourself. Trust your decision. Know your stuff. Be firm in your stance. Stay calm. Keep your emotions in check. Be respectful. Show kindness, even if you disagree. Explain clearly. Share your thoughts in an easy to understand way. So what I'm getting, yes, like this is coming from an energy of people who are dealing with a cycle of getting stuck in and reverting back to a victim mindset, feeling powerless to your circumstances, right? And that's what that means. So stand tall, hold your ground. They need you to ground yourself in your worth. That's how you get out of that victim mindset. You have to remind yourself that you are powerful, you are worthy. Everything that you do matters. Everything that you say and think, it does hold weight. Yes, like that quote, everything makes, no. So the quote goes, nothing matters, but everything makes a difference. And that is so powerful. And I think that's going to be really powerful for whoever's watching this, right? Nothing matters, but everything, every little thing makes a difference. All right. Because I feel like we tell ourselves the opposite, and that's why we get stuck in the victim mindset. That's why we get stuck in, everything sucks anyway. Nothing is really making much progress anyway. Or I'm not doing things right. I'm not getting it. And so I should just give up, right? I should just give up, and I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to distract myself. I'm going to doom scroll. I'm going to, or distract myself with a relationship. Like, it's really... All right, so these are the reasons why we do these things. It's reminding me of what my boyfriend said earlier today, like, shit ain't sweet. Like, he was making a joke about how, like, okay, well, shit ain't sweet. I don't know where he got that from. I think it's, like, something that people say, like, when you're trying to intimidate someone, like, when they want to fight someone. Like that kind of thing. Like, oh, you think, like, you wanna show them, you wanna bring somebody down to your level. Like, that's what that is. And like, I was thinking of that a saying. It's serendipitous because when I look at the ice cream, that's what came to my head, that memory, right? So it's like, they want you to not listen to that negative voice in your head, right? They want you to, just because it's there doesn't mean that it's true, right? So they want you to override it, rewire those thoughts, right? And tell yourself, it is sweet, right? And even if you don't have time to do other things you want to do, tell yourself, I have time to relax. Like, be delusional and tell yourself exactly what it is that you think is impossible, even if it really seems impossible, even if you really don't have any time for yourself. Tell yourself that anyway, because it changes your DNA, it changes your reality, right? It's like, so even if you're delusional people, like, that's how they change their reality. Like, it's not going to be that way at first, right? That's how manifestation and the law of attraction works in a way. It's like, you have to be delusional. Like, you have to believe in the impossible, the limitless, right? Take all of those limiting beliefs and doubts out of your head. And like, it may not be happening right now, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible ever, right? So you have to override that negative voice that tells you that things are impossible, that tells you that, what I'm hearing is, what is that? The catastrophe thinking. Like, you're assuming the worst, and you're like 100% certain that that's going to happen, right? And like, recognize that that's a toxic pattern, a limiting belief that you're not judging yourself for having, but you recognize that if you want to love yourself, you want to be happy, you want to be free, you want to be a thriving person, then you have to talk to yourself in that way, right? You have to treat yourself as that kind of person. Right. So also, what came to my head is self-fulfilling prophecies. It's that's why the law of attraction and manifestation works, whether you are trying to do it consciously or not. We're always manifesting subconsciously, right? So that's why it's like, whenever we're talking about how, like, oh, I always attract these, like, narcissistic men in my life, and we're complaining about it, and we think that we're just venting, but really it's like, we're kind of, we're low-key manifesting more and more of that energy into our lives by saying words like, I always do this, this is always what I get, right? You're defining your future, you're defining yourself in this negative pattern, when you could do the opposite. Even though you feel like the negative pattern is true, you could tell yourself the opposite, right? Because when you think about it, that negative pattern is not true, right? It's never, right? It's often not true to ever say that something is always or never this, right? So it's like changing your words, changing the words that you use into more high vibrational, more, right? Like saying, oh, you always do this, you never do that, or right, changing that to, okay, you often do this, I often see that, right? It changes the energy behind it, and that changes the reality, right? Because how you feel shapes what you do, and that shapes your reality. So yeah, do some word changes, and just like observe without judgment the way that you talk to yourself, and because that's how we do these self-fulfilling prophecies. We say all these negative things, and then like that becomes all that we see and all that we do, because it's all that is what we believe. It's what we believe that we're worth. It's what we believe that we're capable of, right? We're speaking that into existence. We're bringing that, manifesting it into our physical by doing that, right? So you observe in the ways that you do that, right? And rewrite it, we stop telling these stories to yourself, right? And rewrite it. Tell the story that you want to hear. Stop telling these limiting stories and start writing a story for yourself that you wish was true. Eventually it will become true, right? Because, and even if it doesn't come true, you're taking yourself in a hell of a lot better of a direction than if you decided to go down the spiral in the negative route, right? And so it's like always choose love, no matter how devastating the circumstances seem, no matter how much you're disappointed in yourself or in the person, right, that who may have betrayed you, or you may have failed, right? It's like no matter how much, you always choose love, and you will never regret it. You'll never regret it. Because when you always choose anger, and you always choose fear, you're always going to regret it, and you always end up stuck in that emotion, right? So, right, that's why it says here, right, trust yourself, trust your decision. Keep your emotions in check. Show kindness even if you disagree. Share your thoughts in an easy to understand way, right? It's like not just expecting other people to understand you and then feeling offended or hurt by that, and then or not just expecting somebody else to like keep their calm when you're losing your shit, right? It's like we have to remember that everything is a choice, right? Instead of feeling like, oh, surrendering to victim mindset, we have to remember that everything is a choice. And it's not like, oh, you're choosing to be miserable, you're choosing to be, right? It's like, but you're choosing to believe that that's all that's possible for you, right? And you can't just be like, oh, I choose to be happy, and then you start to be happy, of course, right? It's like, no, but I'm choosing to be better. I'm choosing to go down that path, right? Remind yourself it's a process, it's a journey. Remind yourself, right, to ground yourself in that, in the sweetness of that imperfection, in the sweetness of, right? Because in that imperfection there is a lesson. In that imperfection there is something to heal. There's growth, an opportunity for growth, right? So see everything as sweet, see everything as love. Remind yourself that everything is love. Remind yourself that you are love, right? And so always choose love, and that you'll never regret the result of your life when you do that.
I think this is why I always have an affinity to my peers, because I know the truth. I know what it takes, and all it takes is for you to believe in yourself. And that sounds so damn cheesy because we hear that all of our lives, but seriously, life is a fucking fairy tale. That really is all that it is. We don't know what's going on. Ain't nobody got the answers, so ride that shit till the wheels fall off.
Yeah, stand tall, hold your ground, and love. Self-love. All right. Thank you for listening, guys. That is your message for this week.